this is Marc, Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women, your personal trainer for love. This is the Love You Podcast, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Marni Battista. She's from datingwithdignity.com, and she is a superstar. She gave me a bio, but we're not even going to talk about the bio.
No bio.
We're just going to tell the story. Okay.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, it's probably 8 years ago, I met Marni. She's a former school teacher. She asked me out to lunch.
Not on a date.
No, I was.
Because women don't pursue.
No, we got that. I was doing this thing for 6 or 7 years. She was just getting started, and she said, "Could I, pick your brain, take you out to lunch?" And we went to lunch on Pico here in Los Angeles. I believe she paid. She's very generous. All these years later, Marni is one of a handful of people in my industry that I genuinely look up to. I tell her that all the time. She's a superstar. She makes a huge difference in women's lives. She's an incredible businesswoman, an intuitive coach, and she's happily married. And I only have peers on that I respect, but I hold Marni in the highest esteem. So the fact that she's appeared on all these Cosmopolitan, Huffington Post, CBS, ABC.
Blah, blah.
We've all done that crap.
Not everybody.
In our world.
That's true.
It's kind of like a dime. As seen on.
That's true. Here's what I've done.
Tell me.
I got married when I was 22. I picked the wrong guy. I got divorced when I was 38. I dated. I know it's very hard. I had 3 kids. And I figured it out, and I met an amazing guy, and now I teach that to other women. And I think kind of honestly, that's the most important thing, is I've been like super codependent, and I've been like kind of tough, and like I don't need no stinking man. Mm-hmm. So there you go. That's my expertise.
Yeah. So and I think that's how a lot of people find their way into this world, right?
Yes.
There are people. I mean, I have a cousin who's in med school because she had medical challenges, and people become shrinks because their shrink helped them out, and so so for me, it's not. A, I have no skills and no resume. But B, you sort of work your stuff out and you say, hey, I landed in a much better place. How could I share this with others, right?
Exactly.
And reverse engineer my process. Here's what I learned. And, these guys, the camera guys, were asking me, so what's her thing? We've done some interviews before now.
I'm wearing a red bra.
Now you are all going to be looking for Marni's red bra. The rest of the interview,
it's a fashion faux pas.
There's nothing. So now you know.
Well, and who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? Exactly. I now forgot what I was asking. But no, I was trying to say, well, what's Marni's thing? Yeah. I said, I feel like she does a lot of the same things that I do. It's just good common sense advice for smart, strong, successful women who are looking for quality guys. It's not. We don't take women who are just damaged, wilted flowers.
Right.
We take like the best of the best of the best. And get them the man that they deserve. It's just not always the man that they thought they were looking for at the very beginning.
Right.
And we walk the walk.
We walk the walk. Totally.
And so that's my totally nonlinear introduction to Marni Battista.
I loved it.
And she's got a new book. It's called How to Attract a Quality Man Without Going on 200 Dates. Let's just say I could have used that book because I went on 300 in my online dating slut phases from 97 to 2007, so that would have been useful. Thank you for that.
But think of all those women who would have missed the Evan Katz experience. So
there's a lot of women who wish they missed the Evan Katz experience. I can guarantee that. So
anyway,
this is about you, and this is this your second book? I remember you had a book that came out about being irresistible.
Yeah, becoming irresistible.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is this different from the previous book? How is it a step forward?
Well, I think that when I was saying about, I've been there, in this book, I'm sharing pretty much my whole down and dirty story, and I've never really shared that before. And the reason that I'm sharing that is because when you are really smart and you have tried everything, it requires a different window. Right? And so I was so looking at that door. That's the door. I need to walk through the door. I need to go through the door to find love. It was the try harder, be who I think men want me to be, put up with a bunch of shit. Can I swear on your podcast?
Yes. You just did, and yes.
Okay. Like, oh my God, the mental, so in the book I tell about this story. After I got divorced, I thought that the universe and I know you understand when I go, the universe.
Universe and I don't have much of a relationship.
Exactly. So I thought the universe concocted this divorce after 17 years, family of 5, living in LA, very wealthy, credit card, the whole thing, so that I could meet this other guy who I met like immediately after I got divorced, because I thought the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else.
Isn't that how it works?
Thought so.
It was for me.
So I really tell the story about, some really shameful things that I did.
It's important to you should never be the hero of your own story. It's important to look bad, to show people, show everybody the reality of here's these mistakes I made that I'm embarrassed to say, but this is a cautionary tale.
Well, exactly. So I really pinpoint, what it is that I had some 3 lessons that I really had to learn that are things that I couldn't figure out in therapy or reading in a book or going, to a bunch of typical or traditional sort of ways to figure out how to meet a great guy. Okay. And then I really share what I call my Find Love Now formula, which is taking all those lessons and applying it. And what I think is a little different about what we do in our approach is that you give this really amazing advice. And I think that a lot of people just do it. Like it's easier for them to do it. Like break up with the guy who treats you like crap.
You work more on people's past and helping them understand.
Exactly. So it's like if you're like, oh my God, if you are the smartest person in the room and you know that you should not be sleeping with the same guy for 2 years who will not be anything more than a booty call, and even though Evan is told you and it makes sense intellectually and you cannot stop, I could help you. Okay. That's my jam.
All right.
So I talk about that in the book, and then I actually also tell you 38 gold mines that you never, I'm telling you, never thought of to meet quality men.
I don't know. I'm intrigued. You said there were 3. You said there were 3 tips.
Yeah.
Right. Are those the kind of things you could say here? Or is this you got to read the book to get
the tips? Well, I think I could give you one.
Big broad ideas.
Yeah, I could give you one of the lessons.
Sure, please.
And this is the one that I think is the more interesting one. So, I mean, just because you maybe haven't thought of it. And that is what you don't know is the thing that's getting in the way of finding a quality guy. But here's the thing. You have a built-in unconscious barrier, I call it resistance, to actually knowing that thing.
So you don't know what you don't know.
And there's a setup inside of your psychology that says, I actually don't want to know. And so finding out,
about right.
So finding out what that resistance point is can unlock everything. And so that's one of the biggest lessons. It took me a really long time to learn.
I had a conversation like that with someone yesterday.
Yeah.
I hope she's not listening. Maybe she's listening.
Cover your...
No, I'm saying on the odds. I don't know, but we had this conversation where it was almost like everything she had done to this point was the complete opposite of what I would advise. Right? She got on the phone. She's like. She filled out my application.
I just cringed inside before you even said
She filled out the application. She filled out like one word, like dating sucks. I'm insecure. She got on the phone with me. She goes, I run a really successful business. I'm really busy. I don't have time for this. I'm really kind of picky. And I was like, okay, there's a lot of things going on here.
Right.
Right. And I could be the world's greatest dating coach, but we have to attack every single one of them.
Right.
Right. Insecure and picky. They're both real, but they're on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Totally.
Right? The picky girl is usually the one who thinks she's too good for everybody.
Right.
Right? So I believe that you are actually both, but they're both separate problems to tackle. The fact that you're too busy is a separate problem to tackle. And so I was doing everything I could to scare her off of working with me. Right? Not because she didn't need help, but because there's a lot of deeper
a lot of stuff.
A lot of deeper work to be undone.
Yeah.
And
I could help.
Maybe
I could help.
Maybe that's for you.
But busy, nobody can help you if you decide to be too busy.
If you'd rather work, well, that's what happens. People who have successful careers.
Yep.
You're good at your career. Say, well, I'm just going to double down. This is the thing I'm good at. I enjoy. Every time I do this, I'm more successful. I make more money. I get further. So why invest time in something I'm so bad at? Next thing you know, you look up and you're 38 and you didn't have kids, and you're like, well, I'm a self-made millionaire, and now I want it. So this woman said, it's really clear. She says, I want to be a mother. I want to be a grandmother. And I said, okay, so are you willing to take your foot off the gas?
Yeah.
And devote 5 hours a week to looking for love?
Did she say yes?
She said yes, but again, it was tough. It's hard to change someone's
Because you're so
habit.
charming, Evan.
No, I don't think that's it. I think I get by in spite of who I am, not because of who I am.
By the way, your new little headshot of you on this thing with short hair is really cute.
Oh, thank you.
I just thought I'd
I don't know it.
You don't know it?
No,
It's really cute. Don't you guys like him better with short hair? I do.
Well, I have big
Let's
ears.
vote. Thumbs up. Thumbs up to this video if you like Evan with his
I have big ears.
And I like your shirt.
Thank you.
You have like a little edgy thing going today.
You know me, I'm so edgy. My wife likes, it's like if you have like good hair, you grow it out. It's sort of like a waste of hair. If you have good hair, you don't grow it out.
Yeah.
So my wife likes it long. I wanted to clean up a little professionally, and so I did.
I like it.
But I'm glad it meets your approval.
Yeah.
You're with your husband has some great hair.
My
like every time I see him, I'm like,
hair.
dude, you got some great hair.
He does. He's also cutting it short now. He's got a beard.
Really?
Here's a question. Can you help me?
We're totally focused. Yes.
No, I think this is a really good question.
Okay.
So I like my husband clean shaven. Okay, so let's make
better to kiss.
Okay, so let's make it a dating question. You know, there's something about the exterior of your guy, okay, but there's just this thing, right? So I like him clean shaven, and he feeling like he wants to have a short groomed beard and all that kind of thing. What do you think about that? Like, I mean, obviously I'm letting him do it, but then he messed up shaving a little bit, and so he had to, and then I just kissed him for like
I love
a
this.
lot.
I'm letting him do it.
You girls, you totally know what I mean.
I'm letting him do it. I remember a blog post that I got years ago, and it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to handle answering this question, because it was a very similar question. It was from a woman who decided that she wanted to stop shaving. Right. It was
like her legs and her pits and stuff?
And everything.
Stuff? Okay,
and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I don't know if it was like, I'm just rebelling against the patriarchy, or why do women have to be this way, but I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. And my boyfriend's pretty upset.
Right.
And I'm kind of pretty upset with my boyfriend because he's not letting me express myself.
He's not loving me unconditionally.
Right. And I'm like, oh, you're kind of changing the I don't want to be the guy who tells you what to do, but you're kind of changing the terms of the deal.
Right.
Right? You married the guy who was clean shaven.
Right.
Right? And there is I always talk about the concept of unconditional love, but that's also presuming the conditions are somewhat the same. If I suddenly gain like 500 pounds, and my wife, has to push me around in a wheelchair.
But you get on rides at Disneyland faster. Your children would love that.
She might have the right to be upset.
Right.
And I can say, but unconditional love.
Right. No, I think that's a really good point. I just like to kiss him more when it doesn't hurt.
And I think that becomes the incentive. Like, I'm not going to make you, but you get a little bit more affection if you
if it doesn't hurt my little my Shayna Punnam.
Shayna Punnam. Good use of Shayna Punnam.
Thank you.
In a sentence. I love the non-linear nature of this interview. No, because that's what happens.
That's Marni Battista.
No, but that's what happens with friends. So
okay, Karen, interview me properly.
So I'm not really good at interviewing. My name is Evan Marc Katz. This is Marni Battista. We're going to be back with more scintillating beard-related conversation right after this. Hey, this is Evan Marc Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women, your personal trainer for love, back with the second part of the Love You podcast with Marni Battista from Dating with Dignity.
Hello.
And we're talking about her book. You might not be able to tell, but we are talking about her book. And I want to know, you can write about anything when you're in the dating space.
Right.
There's so many things to write about. How did you land on this
How
topic?
to find a quality man? Yeah. Because like you, I'm talking to women and they're like, no, Marni, that's not my problem. My problem is there are no quality men. And I'm sure you have the same thing. It doesn't matter if you live in Fargo or Brisbane.
Some people will blame the city. But ultimately,
and so I'm like, yes, I heard in the news a bomb went off and literally all quality men totally obliterated.
Good, I like that line.
Now you must date a toothless homeless man. I'm so sorry. Just hold your breath during sex. It'll all be good.
The only quality people out there are women.
Exactly.
It's very gender biased.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, And I get it.
So how do you get away with this false advertising? How to attract a quality man when there are none?
Well,
I feel like I'm being like Colbert right now.
Yeah, you are. You are.
So what do we do about the fact that there's no quality men?
Because it's bullshit. There are quality men, and that is just a convenient story that you are telling yourself.
Where are they hiding?
They are.
I'm just pretending to be your client.
No, totally. Well, that's why in my book I give you the 38 places they're hiding.
Stand outside a men's room. It says "man" on the door.
Exactly.
That's what they're lining up there.
Exactly. I was gonna make a bad joke, but I'm glad I didn't. Anyway, so I just decided for somebody who has tried everything and is really willing to say maybe there's an approach I haven't heard of, and I want to find my joy again around this. I just knew that I had a lot to share that could make it easier to date. Where to find them, how to find out, be really stealth when you're online of who's a quality guy. Read between the lines.
Good.
When you're swiping and
That's
online.
valuable.
Right. How you can suddenly get in the position of being the chooser.
Yes.
Right, which is always attractive to a guy, just by learning some of the skills that I have in this book. And so I was like, I just need to tell them how to do it. You don't need to go out on 200 dates. If you do, it's fine. If you've already been on 200, that's fine too. But this is just the most efficient, fun way to date.
Well, I'm challenged, right, by the idea that there's 38 places to go to meet men.
You want to know so bad.
because I get that question too, and I always say, and no one likes the answer, you're asking the wrong question. It's not where do you go to meet men, because there's not like the store where all the quality men are hanging out and no one's told you about it.
Right.
It's the underground secret. It's in general, who are you being that's going to make a quality man want to be with you? So again, without having read the book,
Oprah reads the book.
I'm not. Dude, you haven't sent me the book.
I know, I'm joking with you.
Haven't even sent me the book.
I know.
I actually would read the book.
I know, I'm going to give it to you.
To be better prepared. And not to embarrass myself on my own show. But
go ahead.
But I am challenged by the idea that there are places to go to meet men. Because I usually just say, hey, date online, that's going to pull in people from everywhere.
Right.
Online dating is flawed, but you don't take up golf if you don't like golf just to meet a guy. You know what I mean?
No. So I totally agree with you. So here's the thing, and that's sort of the punchline of the book is yes. If I give you these 38 places to go, and you're still sad and depressed, and you hate men, and all men are jerks, and you're on your phone the whole time, and if you're that person, right, our before person. Right, there's before and after. You could go to, like, if Evan were to invite all the quality men on the planet to go to, like,
all 7 of them?
Vegas for 3, and you walked in there, it doesn't matter, right? So you do have to be that person. However, in the book, I teach you how to be that person.
Got it.
And then I give you these 38 places that are just, like, creative ways to go meet. And here's the thing. My clients really help me figure out there's kind of like 4 types of guys that someone's into. You're
very good at this labeling thing. The 38 places to go, the 7 laws of power. You're really good at I don't do that. I know. I'm now like I have to read this. She's got 7 the 4 types of guys. What are they?
Well, so there's the successful guy, the money guy, right? CEO, corporate guy. There are, like, a lot of women are looking for, like, a spiritual, conscious, like, sensitive, self-aware, artistic-y kind of guy. 2. Right? Some women are looking for, like, edgy guys.
Okay. Did you say
edgy, like the bad boys, but they're not bad. They're reformed bad boys. They have this edge. They have this thing, right? And then the other type, there's really an actual a man that women are looking for who's, like, international. Like, he's cultured, he travels, he's very global, he wants to go live abroad.
Interesting.
And so those are the main categories that we find. Okay. And by the way, leave a comment if there's another category, because I can always expand that.
Because when I'm thinking of the great drivers, and it may or may not overlap with your experience or your research, hot.
Well, they're all hot.
Okay, so
they're all hot. You're not like I like ugly rich dudes who are really old.
But some people are willing to put up with ugly rich dudes, right?
No, totally.
So it becomes money, looks, intelligence would be my top 3.
Those are characteristics of all those different types of guys. I think money, like if you pick sensitive yoga guy, you would like for him to also have a job and be financially secure.
Got it.
Right? They're not like exclusive, or you only get looks or money in one
Are all
category.
these guys viable guys, or are there ones that we should avoid, or are these archetypes of actual good husbands, or like?
No, they're just interest based. I think people are like, I like men who I want someone who wants to travel. I'm looking for someone who's on a personal development growth, that we want to have that in common.
Sure.
So yeah, I have my whole thing on the types of manimals.
Sure.
That's another.
Very good at labeling guys.
I'm a labeler.
If a man labeled women, he would not be in this industry. No, you know.
I'm sure, don't those pickup artist guys
have that?
I'm
sure they do, and they're not really in.
Yeah, we don't like
this
that.
industry, but
Yeah.
There are a few double standards that work for women. That's one of them. You could label guys.
We can.
Give them nicknames on the first
date.
We
do. I always tell me if you find this, my clients that are dating the guys that they shouldn't be dating, like we're trying to, pull them away, they never have a name. They always have like a thing, like weekend guy or surgeon guy or, it's never John. And it's just like across the board. It's like Voldemort. Like they don't want to say their name.
Well, those guys also keep themselves at such a distance.
Right.
That's what they're left with.
Yeah. So if you have a guy like that, note to self, you might want to read my book. Just saying.
I want to make this interesting because there's this part of me that agrees with everything you say, and then there's a part of me that naturally my inclination is to push back.
Because you're Evan.
Because I'm Evan. And I always try to remind people not to cast for a type of man, right?
No, totally.
There's a danger. Like I have a client, you mentioned international guy. I have a client right now who's part of Love You. She loves international guy. Yeah. Right? Like that's her thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, again, she's single, so something's not working.
Right.
In chasing international man, I don't judge her that's her taste. Yeah. She likes to salsa dance with guys named Pablo. Like, great.
Yeah.
But if it's not working, why do we have to? Why can't we find just another guy who is cute and smart and financially stable and treats you well?
We can. I don't think her problem is probably that she likes international men. There's some other stuff going on.
But I think
she should also date other guys.
I think that's the problem. People get too married to their type. I'm looking for and you go online and you can. That's the nature of online dating. It allows you to be choosier than if you worked with a guy every day and you're like, oh God, Jim's kind of funny, and I never really would have thought of him that way. But But online, it's like we have our types, and I think it's why I try to avoid the labels.
Okay, you know what I would tell her?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
No. I totally agree with you. I don't think you should be open-minded to all guys. It's just that we have a thing that we're interested in.
We all have a thing.
That's fine. What I would say is for her, great, look for international guys online. But when you're out in your life, your challenge is to be open to 3 guys a day who aren't your type.
Smile at them.
Right? Both things are true. I'll go look here or go for international guys in your dating portfolio that's offline. But online, your homework is you're going to pick an accountant.
Sure. There's a story I've told before. There's a client of mine who went to an Alison Armstrong seminar. And she did one of her man panels.
Oh, okay.
And there's 3 guys up on stage, and I know you've done man panels before. And the client does what women do. The first thing is she's sitting in the audience, but would I date this guy? Right.
Right.
It's not what she's there for, but she's looking at these guys is this guy my type? First guy is a little short, second guy's a little gray, third guy's a little heavy.
Yeah.
And she's like, nope, not my type.
Right.
And then the guys start talking about dating and relationships, and they're all self-aware, and they're funny, and they're relationship-oriented, and they're confident. And in 20 minutes, she's like, oh my God.
I would totally date that guy.
I would totally date these guys. And then she comes back and tells me, these are the same guys I reject every day on Match.com.
Yeah, no, I think that's a brilliant. No, that's so great. I was telling your camera guys, we did this. We did a man panel, but we called it Inside the Locker Room. Okay. So they were behind a screen, and they were just jamming on a lot of different topics. And so we had 100 women in the audience.
Where was this?
It was in June at an event I did.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And so they made up all these stories about that guy's player and that. So then
they didn't look like the.
Well, they didn't even know what they looked like. So they totally made up a story. So then I had 20 questions that we brought them out front and they had to do like truth. There was no dare. It was truth or truth, right?
Yeah.
So like the one guy that they thought was like, oh my God, like he had the perfect answers for every single thing. And I was like, have you ever been divorced? He's like, yes. Have you ever been divorced more than once? Yes. Have you ever been divorced more than twice? Yes. Have you ever been divorced more than twice? Yes. They were like, oh, if I found out a guy was divorced 3 times, I never would have gone out with him. Right? Or the guy that they thought was a player is the one that like, you know, has like a 401k and he's like super serious. And so they were just like blown away and it was awesome.
I am blown away by that. I can't believe I didn't think of it. You're a genius. I'm going to steal that. Oh no, that's really awesome. Did you make that up?
I did make it up.
That's really cool.
Good.
Like me to you, like that's...
It was really cool. And by the way, video guys, it looked so badass because we had these 2 screens that were like lockers.
Was there smoke?
No, but they were lockers, and then it was just silhouette black, and then all the ladies in the audience, and it was really fun.
I've spoken at one of Marni's live events. It's still my favorite speech I've ever done.
It's a good one.
It gets me speaking gigs. That's how much I like that one.
It's really good.
And she throws a mean live event. It's called...
well, I have 2.
Ignite Your Life?
And Becoming Irresistible.
And Becoming
Irresistible.
Irresistible.
But I don't know what we'll be doing in January. We're changing it up.
All right.
Just read the book.
We're going back to the book.
Go to my website.
We're taking a break. We're going to go back to the book. This is Marc Katz. This is Marni Battista. We're learning something today about big dicks and beards and 4 types of guys. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Marc Katz. This is Marni Battista, and this is the Love You podcast. We're back with part 3 of our interview about Marni's book, How to Attract a Quality Man Without Going on 200 Dates. If you could pull it in 199, you're the winner. So I got to ask, what do you think is the first step to finding a quality man? Because again, when people have been single for a really long period of time, it's like I don't know what to do. I mean, I know I should meet men, I know I should smile, and I should put up an online dating profile, but it's overwhelming. Where does one begin?
Yeah. So I think my philosophy is the slower you go, the faster you get there.
Okay.
Okay. And so from some of you, you're like, awesome, it's been going really slow.
I've already got it.
I've got it. So that's why you want to take a pause and you want to say, you know what, if things aren't working, am I willing to put a pause on everything that I'm doing that's not working and let go of what I think I know? We talked about that in an earlier segment. And just be open to the possibility that the one common denominator in all my failed attempts is moi, it's me. And am I willing to take some personal responsibility for that?
That's not a fun conversation to have with oneself.
No, it's not.
So that's the first step.
It really is. There's 2 things that I say create success stories at Dating with Dignity. One is taking personal responsibility, not just for for dating, but this is and this is like the serious side of me, but personal responsibility for the vision and what you want in your life. Like you said, this client wants to have babies. She wants to be a grandma. Like she's got a vision. So you're looking at dating as this little piece of your vision and you make it like the whole piece of your vision. And it's very easy to not take responsibility for that as it connects to your vision.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you say like, oh, this is so hard, and it sucks, and I'm just so sick of signing on, seeing the same 12 guys who are my fucking matches. No more, right? But I get it. I've been there. Sure. I used to have that, and you probably did too, although you were like, I can't believe we didn't accidentally, I was in my cougar mode and you were in your slut mode, and we were inches away from a bad, awkward moment at lunch 8 years ago.
That's funny.
Because, segue,
You know someone I've gone out with?
No.
I apologize for whatever I did.
No, but David, can we say other people? We've talked about it. We can, fuck it. David Wygant, totally tried to hit on me.
I'm shocked.
And I was like, what do you do? You're I knew, how ladies, when you know something's a little fishy, a guy's too nice and too charming, I was like, something's weird with this guy. Anyway, flash forward, I see him at a thing, and I'm like, I totally went on a date with that guy. So it's amazing that you and I never had that moment. Thank God.
You know what?
Let's carry on.
No, it's not that. I think when you date enough,
Yeah.
And again, I never recommend going on 200 dates for this. It's never dating for volume's sake. I'm completely with you. Slow down.
Slow down. Right.
The destination is there.
Yep.
The process will get you there.
Totally.
And you need to have some dating experience to know what you don't like, and you need dating experience to get confidence. So,
Absolutely.
I'm all for the slow and steady.
Yeah.
But again, all of those dates were experiences that I learned from, and I met some really lovely people, maintained friends. Like, I got way too many Facebook friends who I've hooked up with in some form or another.
But here's the thing: at some point, though, you had that attitude about it. That you weren't in oh, this is another waste of time.
No, that's why I did this job. My best friend is just like me, and he hates this. And I was like, I kind of liked it.
But here's the thing: you don't need to be a dating. So let's back it up. So what I was sort of going for was this: is that if you're willing to take responsibility, and you're like, okay, I know that it's really hard for me right now, and I'm not having fun, and they're on there, but I'm on there too, and you back it up and you go, okay, just start looking for the pattern. Right? Yes. Am I always attracted to the wrong guy? Am I so stuck on meeting? Like I was telling a story at my retreat last weekend of my cousin actually, only dating Jewish vegans. Okay. Exactly.
I'm sick, but not because of that.
No, right? So
just for you, 2% of the population is Jewish. You can quickly Google what percentage is vegan, but I'm guessing it's no more than 2% either. So we're talking 0.4%.
Right, exactly. And so for years,
to start.
Right, for years she was like, that is my type, that is my type. Like international, that is my type, that is my type. And so finally she was like, what do I really want? I'm going to take responsibility for my vision. So is that more important than my vision of what I want? I don't want to be buried alone.
Okay.
So she gave up vegan.
Okay.
She's getting married.
Now I was going to say, she expanded to 2% of the population.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. She didn't even have to settle, really, because she just didn't find a guy who's like a Jewish guy. She's super into Jewish community.
Sure.
So she just didn't even find like a couch Jewish guy. She found a guy who also has the same values around it. So when you say, I'm going to take responsibility and I make those adjustments, it doesn't mean you're like, fine, Evan and Marni, I'll do it. It's not like you have to throw in the total towel, right?
People often misinterpret dating coaches who tell you to do things like open up. And they say, you're telling me to settle. And I always say, settling, the definition of settling is that you're unhappy at the end. Right?
Yeah.
So no one who's advocating for you wants you to settle or be unhappy. We're advocating smart, small compromises that leave you in a better place than you were when you started.
Smart, small for bigger. Just kidding.
You're on fire today.
I am.
All right.
I need to have sex, let's just say. It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
All right.
It's Friday.
We'll go get Jeremy.
It's Friday.
Friday's our date, too.
Okay, good.
So the first step
I'll send you a smiley emoji tonight at like 5.
5? Really?
No, just as well wishes for a good evening.
I was going to say,
No, I'll
be in bed by midnight.
Oh, yeah. No. At 5, aren't you doing like cutting up food into really small pieces?
No, my kids play together by themselves for a couple hours before we wake up in the morning. We were on a separate floor.
I was talking about 5 p.m.
Oh, 5 p.m. No, I'm going to go. I have more work to do.
Okay. Never mind. No smiley emoji for me.
You could still smile if you do afternoon delight. I'm just not. Okay. I'm not an afternoon delight guy. I'm like a.
Me either.
I'm a little too.
That's
organized.
A great question. If you're a morning person, consider being a night person. Open up your type.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
We heard it here first. So our first step to finding a quality man is taking some responsibility for why you haven't found quality men. And the thing that I quote myself on, or awkward, is you don't attract the wrong men, you accept the wrong men, right? Most men are the wrong men. It's not like you got some magnet inside you that works against your will. You're choosing these guys, right, and not filtering them out soon enough.
Right, but I'm going to go spiritual woo-woo on you just a little bit in support of what you're saying, is that I think that if you do have a pattern of attracting guys that you shouldn't accept, right, the less than quality guys, what happens is we start to, that's how we're thinking. We're like, oh, there's no good men, I attract bad men, and I do believe that when you're out in the world, and that is your main thought that's going through your head all the time, you're not genuinely a person who you want to go have dinner with.
Yeah, no, that's where I do believe in the law of attraction.
Okay.
Not that the universe is catching our vibrations, but rather people like hanging out with positive people and don't like hanging out with negative people. People like doing business with positive people, not negative people. So it's as simple as and by the way, every woman here has met the guy who says, I hate dating, I hate Match, I hate women.
Right. Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
That guy's not going to do very well, even if he's a good guy.
Here's the thing that I would say, especially for really smart women, is that, and goes back to taking responsibility, I encourage you to consider, am I putting out that vibe or that unhappy, dissatisfied, burned out, overworked, life is hard vibe, even though you've got the blow dry and you did your makeup and you think that you're not doing that? Because most men that I interview, and you're a guy, would say there's just a thing. Like, she looked great and, she had the right, qualities on paper, but we went out and there was just this, some guys will call it no chemistry. I call it like a woman is leaking. Like, there's something coming out that she doesn't know about that guys, you pick up on it, right? Yeah,
no, and there's a parallel one to that is the I don't need a man, right?
Right.
Because you don't. Because you've lived for 45 years without one, and you do everything yourself, and you have this great life, and you travel, and you have your dog, and you go to your yoga classes and your retreats, and you literally don't need it.
No.
But he picks up on the fact, and he's like, so what am I here for?
Totally. We were at this retreat I just led. We had a little mini man panel, and two of the guys were single.
Short guys?
Yeah, no, they were tall, but it was not 10. It was like 3 guys.
Sure. Thank you. I'll be here.
They said, oh my gosh, when I get an email or a text or something and it's like, oh my God, I'm so busy, they're like, it's like, she's like scary busy. And so my women are all like, but we are busy. What do we say? Right? And so it's like, hey, I'm really excited to see you, and Friday doesn't work, but I'm totally free on Thursday.
I have a question. I don't know where it's going to go. Men, you just established, don't find it attractive when a woman is busy. Busy means I have no time for you, you're a low priority. I'm going to put out there that I think women find it attractive when men are busy. There's something about him being aloof, right? It's mysterious when a guy, why do we value guys who are too busy for us, but the guy who's like, hey, I'm so excited to see you again, it's like, ooh, stay away from me, puppy dog.
Well,
right? So I feel like women value men more who are busy than men value women who are busy.
I think busy and aloof. Does it make any sense? Well, busy and aloof are totally different things. Okay. Like, unavailable is different than busy. Like, I would like a guy. They run
very close to each other, though.
I think busy is like, frenetic, like, I'm really busy.
It is, but it amounts to the same thing. I don't have time to see you, call you.
Right, but that's not attractive. I want a guy who has and my clients want a guy who's got an active.
I agree.
Right?
But again, I'm trying to get people to the point where they don't value the guy who's so unavailable. Oh, babe, I'm traveling for a couple weeks. I'll call you when I get back. Like, that's not a good answer.
That's not a good answer.
But.
Because the busy guy. Okay, here's the thing.
But someone still likes that.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah. Well,
but guys don't like that.
No. But. Right, but so someone likes that, but they're attracted to that.
They put up with it.
Right, and it's like unhealthy, right? It's like, that's my jam, right? It's like, I grew up with like super Midwestern, nice Jewish family, whatever, and my dad worked a lot, and he would travel on the weekends, and then he'd come home, and he'd like, we'd have quality time, we'd play and whatever, and so doesn't mean my dad was a bad dad, but what I learned is crumbs, sort of like intermittent attention is okay. Yeah. And my mom used to say, oh, I miss dad. That's okay. We have like a nice lifestyle, and that's, wow, you're really working out, Evan. Like, that's what we do. We put up with this because we get that, right? So I just grew up thinking that crumbs are okay. So then when I was an emerging adult and dating, then I'm traveling now, babe. I'll call you in a couple weeks. I put up with that. So do we like it?
It's called the normalization of deviance.
Yeah,
Something is broken, and we just say, well, that's just the way
it is. Right? So do we like it? No. If you're attracted to it, again, this is like that moment where you go, maybe there's something I want to shift in myself so that I'm no longer attracted to that guy. I want a guy who's busy, but also is like, has enough freaking energy to like text, I am thinking about you before he passes out.
We can make some sort of equivalent. It's the aloof, busy, emotionally unavailable man remains attractive. We have to wean ourselves off of that.
Yes.
The same way that guys have to get over the hot and crazy. right?
Totally.
We're not attracted to crazy. We put up with crazy because aha.
Right. Yeah, but there was a great episode. Okay, I'm going to tell you this episode. Do not Google it.
This is How I Met Your Mother?
Yes, the hot versus annoying scale of Barney Stinson. It's awesome. Google it after you watch every single episode of Love You podcast. But then definitely Google it because you'll be like, that's funny.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very bossy.
We always leave on a high note. This is Evan Marc Katz. This is Marni Battista. This is the Love You podcast. We're going to come back with our last segment. We're going to wrap up, and Marni's going to give us some free stuff. That's what.
With dignity.
Yeah, dating with dignity.
I'll give it to you, but I keep my dignity.
There you have it. We'll be right back. This is Evan Marc Katz. Back with the Love You podcast with my good friend Marni Battista. We are talking about her book, How to Attract a Quality Man Without Going on 200 Dates. And in this last segment, we're going to dive into an important topic. It's always sort of emotionally fraught and sensitive, and I feel like we should just sort of lay it out on the table what it is. And I'm so glad I have a woman by my side because I always come off as the bad guy when I talk about it.
Yeah.
What is feminine and feminine energy, and how could the women listening to the Love You podcast gain from reframing what it means to be a woman and squaring that with feminine energy?
Right. Well, I think that, first of all, it's annoying as hell when someone says, you intimidate men or you have too much masculine energy. And you're like, what does that even mean? I wear a dress. I take care of myself. I wear makeup, whatever. So I feel you on that. When I talk to guys, and they talk about feminine energy, it's a softness. And it kind of connects to that, like, I'm too busy, I'm like powering through my life. It's a softness. It's an openness. And really, in the end, it's about vulnerability. And I know that's like a very mushy word. But here's the thing. All the brain science research, all the facts show, right? You cannot create true intimacy, which every single person here wants. Like, right? That's your vision, right? Like, I mean, if you're really wanting that epic love story, you don't want to have the relationship that your friends have or whatever. You want to really be seen. And
yep.
Their intimacy is required, and intimacy can't happen when you sort of have your guard up all the time. Like you're like, is he going to hurt me? Do I need to defend myself? Do I need to be right?
It's a little different than masculine. The defensive
but it
part,
comes off.
But it's a wall. It's not an open door.
Right. It's a wall. And so so when I work with women, they're like, what? Give me something tangible that means feminine. So it's soft. It's vulnerable. It's being open. It's that coupled with, and I know this sounds really like hard to articulate, but it's like vitality and joy. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Like, and I've met Bridget, and she's got this like...
That's my wife. Yeah. I never mentioned her name, but now you know her name.
But she's like really busy, right? She's like taking care of your kids, and she's very smart, and she's got all this stuff. But she's got this like joy, right? Like she's soft, and she's like it's just easy to be around her, right? And so when a woman is very much so like where we stand and how's it, and there's like this guard up, and your brow is furrowed, whether it really is or it's not.
I think I'm furrowing right now.
Yeah, it comes off, and the best way I think that it gets labeled is masculine. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay. I totally furrow my brow, by the way, when I listen. I'm like, in fact, when I was dating,
it means you're paying close attention.
No, but when I was dating, I would just do that thing, like where I like, and I realized I was like totally. It's a work thing too sometimes, right? Like at work.
The definition that I learned, this is not my area of expertise at all. Masculine is about self and feminine is about others. Mm-hmm. Self is ego, ambition, opinion, right? Dominance, me. Getting my needs met.
Yes, but you said something really important. So before you describe feminine, I want to make sure that we frame it in this. It's not that you have to be one or the other.
No.
It's that you have a blend.
Yes,
and that
all of us do.
You know how to be in your feminine because your masculine rocks for you.
Yes.
Right? Like, I just don't want anyone to hear that and be like, well, I'm not going to not be that person. No, okay, carry on. So what's your definition of feminine?
No, again, we're talking about the poles, and everybody has a blend of both, but it doesn't take very long to figure out which one you are.
Right.
And then realize that you need a complement to fit you.
Right.
It is not an insult to say that you have masculine energy.
Right, which I do. Because I was like, come on, Evan, let's go.
And your boyfriend or your husband has feminine energy.
Totally.
He's more easygoing guy. Yep. Okay, Marni, do your thing.
Yep.
Right? So masculine is about doing, achieving, more. Unfettered masculine energy is dominance, war, violence, right? That's the worst of masculine energy. And the worst feminine energy is doormat.
Right.
No opinions, everybody steps on you, never speak your mind. No one's advocating for either of those things.
Right.
But we all naturally lean one direction or the other. Most you've probably seen most of the smart, strong, successful women like to say, I'm 50-50.
And you're 70-30. Yeah.
So I'm 70-30. And my wife is 30-70. And that's part of why we work. So feminine energy, if you want to be with a masculine man, leader, confident, driven, opinionated, that guy is a little work, he's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And he's going to be.
I was married to that
He's
guy.
going to be in the driver's seat, and you have to be a good navigator. If you want to be in the driver's seat because your opinions matter more, and you need to get your way, and why won't he just listen to me? And as you micromanage him, damn it, you just need a different kind of guy. You don't have to change your personality at all.
Well, that's so important, and that's what we're talking about, opening up to your type, right? Because I was married to that guy.
There's the type that you're attracted to most, and there's the type that works for you, and they don't completely overlap.
I totally agree.
I'm attracted to masculine women. I like big brains.
Right.
Really, like I'm what do they call it? A sapiosexual. I'm fascinated by intelligent people, and that is my biggest turn on.
Right.
Ultimately, when I would date and I would look for the smartest woman I know, she'd be like, Evan, I love you, but you have to change this and this and this and this. And I'd be like, okay. Right? I just never felt good enough. I was always being criticized and micromanaged. And my partner, who's with me right now, does not think I'm perfect. She observes the same flaws that those ex-girlfriends observe. She just doesn't make as much of a big deal about them.
Right.
And that, to me, like, that's why I married you. Not that she thinks I'm perfect. It's just she doesn't focus on my imperfections.
Well, right. And also she's fun. Like, there's that other thing, right? Like, a guy wants to be around you and have it be fun. Like
I say accepted, appreciated, admired.
Yeah, like add something to, because they're like you. They don't need you either, really. I mean, except for sex. But, so they want you to add those things in. So I think
everything is like, it's a relationship discussion about us and where this is going. Or, hey, honey, I want to watch football and do, this weekend. No. Right.
By the way, that's the conversation in my house. And I'm the one like, honey, I'm watching football on Sunday. And he's like, okay.
I'm not going to let you. A good partner negotiates, right? Like I used to plan my Sundays when I was single around watching the Jets because I'm from New York and I'm loyal to my terrible teams.
Yes.
And now that I'm married with 2 kids, I can't just take off for a Sunday and let my wife just do it.
What's your Sunday? Okay, this is a segue. Which one do you still watch one game on Sunday?
Not necessarily.
No.
Not always. Not always. I didn't watch the first 2 games of the year. I watched the 4th quarter of one game.
Okay, so you're compromising.
I am, because being a good husband and father is more important than my team. And that's evidence that I'm not pure dominant masculine energy. I might be, everybody knows I'm a pain in the ass and difficult and opinionated, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be in a relationship with anybody, a friend, a partner, business, you have to give on something. It can't just be your way or the highway. And 2 people who are your way and the highway, that is a rough
that's not good. But here's the
relationship.
other thing, which I talk about in my book, actually. Oh, good. We made it be about that for a minute. But listen.
Oh, gosh.
No, because of me.
I'm terrible at this.
No, I am like,
I'm so sorry.
No,
it's not about me. It's about Marni.
Okay, listen. But here's.
It's Marni book
promotion. No, listen. Here's what's really important is you and your partner have the same value about family. Right? So in the book, I'm talking about talking about your type. It's you got to have the values conversation, right? So because that is a very high common shared value, right? Family, dad,
yeah. Someone's going to put football first,
exactly,
over family,
right? So that's
I'm going to fit my family around football season,
right? But some guys would value freedom.
Yes.
However they define it.
Yes.
More
Don't tell
than
me
family.
what to do. You're not the boss of me.
Exactly. So when you're dating and I call it data dating. Like I teach you in the book how to come up with, I call it 5 fights you're never going to have, right? Because they're values based. Because really, do you want to not be with a great guy because you know, he likes this, or he likes football, or he isn't as clean as you are. Because I've had clients want to break up with someone because they don't like that he doesn't
shower.
No, like leaves crumbs in the...
that cleanliness.
Yeah, because when you live on your own for a long time and you like your stuff, and then you're like, I don't know if I can live like that for the rest of my life.
I have a favorite client right now who's messy. She's a single mom of 2, and she's got a busy life, and she's doing it all herself, and she's gotten into things with her boyfriends. Like, she's been working with me, and her boyfriends, you know, treat her like she's like the messy bachelor. She's like, it is just not my priority. I got to get my kids fed to school, to their errands, and I got to pay the bills. So if the living room is messy, it's messy.
Right.
And
I could never date her.
So wait, so I don't understand. Are these things deal breakers, or are they not deal breakers?
Well, they're not deal breakers. However, I have so this is really a great question. So I have a value around family, and part of that is the space in our family home. Right? Like for me, like we can have...
It's your sanctuary.
It is. And so connection and fun and whatever is possible when there's like it's not even clean, it's uncluttered space. So that's a nuance. That's why really my whole thing is tools, not rules. I don't really think there are rules. I think you have to take...
That is really well said.
Thank you. It's a Marniism.
I like that.
If I were going to make a meme, I would put it on there.
You should.
I should, right?
Even out of context, it doesn't make that much sense. Tools, not rules.
Right.
Because it sounds like we're advocating for guys who are tools, and we're not really.
That's true.
Let's get me some tools. Probably a big power tool.
But in context, it's sort of...
It is, and I think if you are a consumer of free information on the internet, podcasts and mailing lists and blogs and whatnot, and you read a 1,000-page thing or you listen to a short conversation, it sounds like everybody's lecturing, here's the rule.
Yes.
Right? There's one way to do things, and you're doing it wrong, damn it. And then you get really angry at the person who's telling you that. And
you feel bad about yourself.
It's no one's taking your reality away.
Right.
No one's saying there's only one way to do things. The term I use is it effective or ineffective, not right or wrong.
Yeah.
If what you're doing is working, if you're the person who says, if a guy leaves a pencil like this instead of like this, I'm dumping him, and you find a guy who's cool with that, straightening his pencils for you, then congratulations, you win.
Right.
But the more things you turn into deal breakers, the fewer deals there are. So
that's good. I like that. I like that.
Being an easygoing person in general is a great trait in a partner, and I've seen it up close in my wife, and she makes me less intense, uptight, the whole thing, because you kind of have to match the energy of your partner. Have you found that with...
Oh yeah, totally. I really
He makes you want to be a better man?
He makes me do things that are super out of my comfort zone, which is like being out of control and being...
Can you give me an example?
Yes, I would love to. So he's, first of all, amazing at planning trips because he's like an adventure. He's adventure international.
He's one of those guys.
But so we went on this trip for my 50th birthday, and we went to Ireland, and it's cold and it's raining, and we're on the western coast, and it's like roaring seas, and we sign up for this activity because I'm just like, sure, when you're at home looking at a brochure, called coast steering. Okay, it's a sport that's so dangerous they don't allow it in America.
Sure, so go to Ireland to get killed.
Exactly. So I went with my kids who are older. They're like in college. And I'm putting on this cold wetsuit and a helmet and a thing, and I'm
And you're riding on a what?
No, your walk is you go to the cliff's edge.
Sure.
And you walk on the cliff edge of it's barnacles, so you have to wear somebody else's wet tennis shoes.
My palms are already sweating.
Oh my God. And then you basically do different levels of jumps into the ocean. Okay, and then you get there and you swim and you go in the caves. You go in the thing that you're driving by on a boat on a sunny day, and
you're like, that looks dangerous.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I wonder what it's like behind there, under there, and you swim in there
with a helmet.
With a helmet, and I literally climbed at this thing, and I oh my God! So the pictures are hilarious because I'm excited and terrified, and we're like doing posing, and I'm like, but like, oh my God, I felt alive. I did so many things on that trip that I am like, that's not safe. We shouldn't do that, So,
because he brings that out in you.
He brings that out in me. I love, I love
that
about
him. If I had a partner like that, I'd do that. Like, if I were with like a triathlete woman, I'd be a triathlete. I'm with a woman who's like, let's sit by the pool and has 17 margaritas.
Right.
So that's who I'm with. It's like we're going to be fat and happy and old and drunk together. You will never catch us doing what you just did.
No.
But I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was so fun. But that's like, he's my compliment is like, I am very much, my masculine energy is very controlled and this and that. And so he helps me to just like not be in control.
I like
and
that.
Oh my God, I just have so many moments in my life.
And how old were you when you found him?
I was, how old was I? 42.
42.
Yep, he was 34. So, I mean, I was, you know, not an ageist, but I wanted someone with common values. And because I have, like, what I call my deal breakers, there's certain things that he's been working on that because I decided that wasn't as important to me, it doesn't mean it's easy and it's perfect. But, like, I look at, like, the whole package of what it is that I want. And so... Like,
he brings a lot more to your life than he takes away.
Oh my God, yeah, and my kids, and like honestly.
No, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy, and he's cute, and he's nice, and he's sweet. He brings me coffee every day.
There you have it, man. Here's what's possible.
Here's what's possible.
Here's a woman who walks the walk. Her name is Marni Battista from datingwithdignity.com. I have to plug datingwithdignity.com if you want to apply to have a fastest path to love session with Marni or one of her master coaches. Please go to dwdlive.com.
I love that idea. I can help you figure out what that thing is that you don't know that's holding you back.
The blind spot.
The blind spot. The missing piece.
Awesome. I love this. I thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me to play in your house.
Thanks for Ubering up here. And
I love Uber.
Totally. LA. Again, I really love... for the people who are viewing, I love introducing you to my friends here in Southern California who are experts at this and are such wonderful people, such great compliments to the same things that I teach and love you, and I'm proud to show them off and share them with you because they're wonderful assets and they'll make a big difference in your life if you choose to follow them.
I don't know
Is that a heart?
Right. You're in your 20s. Am I doing that right? There's some way that you do the heart. Am I doing it right? Yeah.
Okay.
I heart you, Evan.
Okay. I ate you, Marc. This is Evan and Marc Katz, Love You Podcast. We'll be back next week with a show that I haven't written yet.
Bye.